those who get history wrong are doomed to repeat it. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 most common things movies and TV get wrong about history. Before we begin, this video is made in partnership with Sotheby's. If you want to see cool videos on amazing items from history, subscribe to Sotheby's channel on YouTube. For this list, we're looking at the most frequent inconsistencies and inaccuracies in films and television shows depicting historical events, people, and things. Number 10. When certain events happened.
Are you ready for a war?
Hollywood regularly features stories where stated dates don't line up with their actual historical ones. Although the last few centuries are generally pretty safe, the likelihood of errors often increases the further back something is set, with events often placed in the wrong year, decade, century, or in extreme cases, millennium. In other cases, events that should take place many years apart take place in closer or further proximity. This is likely due to artistic license or telling the story that those in charge want to tell. And sometimes they even have people meet each other who never met in real life, or who weren't even alive at the same time.
Yes, what can...
Number 9. Customs and traditions.
Master.
Every culture across the world has a host of traditions and idiosyncrasies that give them a distinct identity all their own. However, films and shows often gloss over these behaviors, get them wrong, or omit them completely, in favor of having the characters act like people from modern day.
I did not make myself king. God did. King by divine right.
While this is sometimes the result of ignorance on the part of the creators, in other cases, it's to make the characters feel more relatable, or else it's to avoid stopping the narrative to explain the custom to the audience.
Hysteria is a disabling condition suffered by half the women in this city.
Number 8. The appropriate clothing and music of the period.
I will do it with my spear and magic helmet.
How characters are dressed and the music they listen to can help establish the time and place of a period in history. However, movies and TV regularly get them wrong. People will wear clothing that was not commonly worn during the period of the story, or in some cases, hadn't even been invented yet, like the kilts worn in Braveheart. Songs are even more egregious though, as when songs were written, particularly those from the last century, is usually well documented and easy to look up online. In most cases, Hollywood seems to shoot for establishing the mood of a time period, rather than to make it accurate. Number 7. The technology that did or didn't exist.
You have anything to say before your sentence is carried out?
Yeah. Home to fried chicken dinner with gravy on the taters.
While outfits and music are a bit understandable, technological mistakes seem a bit more egregious in our minds. Characters will often use tools and other technology that won't be created for years. In many cases, the creators of the media in question will have the characters use the technology due to convenience, or to make a cool scene like the use of dynamite in Django Unchained. This is especially bad when it comes to more modern technology like computers, since the documentation on their creation is significantly easier to find.
I got a call from him saying we don't have to worry about money no more, and I said, that's good.
Number 6. A character's motivation.
That they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom!
Much like their customs, historical figures are often given modernizations to make them more palatable to current-day audiences. Heroes are shown to fight for freedom and equality, which are ideals praised by people today, when they were far more likely to pursue things for reasons like nationalism, protecting their families, or just to stay alive.
Free my men. Senator Gracchus is to be reinstated.
Meanwhile, antagonists and villains are usually played up as being completely irredeemable when they often had more depth to their motives than simply doing evil things for their own sake.
I hope that the people who use this bridge in years to come will remember how it was built and who built it.
Number 5. A person's personality.
I'm sorry, sir. I could never answer to a whistle.
Not only does Hollywood alter people's motives, they also mess up their personalities. Though historical figures' personalities can be difficult to discern the farther back in time we look, some things are generally known about famed ancient people, and Hollywood rarely gets them right or consistent, often amplifying one personality trait. Cleopatra, for example, is usually portrayed as a seductress, despite having more to her character than that.
I asked it of Julius Caesar. I demand it of you!
Even more recent historical figures are not immune to having their characters warped for the sake of a good story.
One may smile and be a villain.
Just a reminder to subscribe to Sotheby's channel for more videos featuring incredible real treasures from throughout history. Number 4. How old someone was during a certain period.
Classes will dull your mind. Destroy the potential for authentic creativity.
Hollywood has a real problem with getting the age of characters right, regardless of whether they're real or fictional. It can be very distracting sometimes for those in the know to see historical people who are years or decades older or younger than they should be during a certain period. Still, we understand that casting is often the result of the ability of the actor and not necessarily historical accuracy. Sometimes, though, it is clearly the result of revisionism, such as Pocahontas, who's drawn as a teenager or young adult in the Disney film, but was actually only a preteen during the real-life events depicted in the movie.
Quit playing around. We have to get back.
Number 3. Accents and language.
Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Historical media made for English-speaking audiences almost always have the characters speaking modern English in English or American accents, regardless of the time period the story is set in or the culture of the people speaking.
You never spoke so well of him.
He was not dead before.
Part of the reason for this is the need to make the film more palatable and/or understandable to English-speaking audiences. After all, there are plenty of people out there who think that subtitles distract from the action on screen.
We're speaking the same language, but you don't understand anything I'm saying, do you?
Also, it's just so much easier to get actors to speak an accent of their own language rather than another language entirely.
But Paris is the most beautiful city in the world. Why should my people feel anything but pride and contentment?
Number 2. The skin color of a person or whole civilization.
Praise Osiris, King of all Egypt! Hail Ra!
Hollywood doesn't have the best track record with racial anything, do they? Historical films and shows often feature characters that are depicted by actors who are not the correct race for the location or time. Either they've cast all white people in that classic Hollywood whitewashing maneuver, or else they're arguably too racially diverse, featuring people of color during a time and place when it would have been bizarre. In either case, historical revisionism is often the culprit, though ambivalence, ignorance, and political correctness, or lack thereof, are other common causes.
Step aside. Acadian, you're riding to your death.
Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions.
Your hands seem to be better.
It's okay. We're safe. It's okay.
Number 1. Which person accomplished what? What's the point of making your mark on history if they're just going to get it wrong later on? Hollywood will often give credit to people, groups, or countries that didn't do whatever it said they did. In other cases, a person's accomplishments are multiplied or exaggerated. Though this is sometimes a case of myth or rumor becoming more well-known than the facts. In most cases, it's used to glorify the subject of the story, whether it be a person or a country, to make them appear more impressive or heroic.
I have nothing.
This video is made in partnership with Sotheby's. Click the link to subscribe to their channel for more cool videos.